Today, let's build semantic search fully 100% in the browser. Now, the way semantic search works, and this is kind of what we're building here, is rather than looking for characters within a word or, maybe misspellings or kind of things like that, we're actually searching for the meaning. So, for example, if we're searching for furniture here, we'll get the desk, the bed, the chair, which is furniture. If we're looking for food, we'll get a tomato, hot dog, banana. But now, interestingly, so for example, if we look for electronics, we will get our Apple, So this is interesting here, our Apple, if we're searching for fruit, we'll get banana, apple, car, because, semantically, by meaning, the apple is a fruit, but then also the apple, can be a laptop, a mouse as well. A mouse is an animal. If we're searching for animals, cat, mouse, dog, but then, the mouse is also something that you use with your laptop, for example. And so this is really, really cool. This is possible now 100% in the browser with technologies like Transformers.js and PGlite. And so we'll see how we can make that happen today. So maybe dive a little bit into how kind of semantic search works. So first of all, we have the user query here. So, this was our furniture, electronics, what have you. We don't have any text pre-processing step here because, our text is literally just a little word. And then what we're doing is this semantic encoding. So we're actually taking this and turning it into semantic vectors, also called embeddings, which basically means we're using, some sort of language model to sort of turn our word and all the meaning within that word into just a big array that we can then store in the database. And what we do is we do the same thing with our, document corpus. So our document corpus here is, just some items that we have in the database. So, if we're building an e-commerce application, that could be all kind of the products that we have, the entire product catalog we put in there. And then once we have, all the semantic encoding, so these are our vector embeddings, we can then perform this similarity comparison. So this is what we're using here, PGlite with pgvector. So for the semantic encoding, we'll use Huggingface's Transformers.js. And then for the similarity search, we're doing this with pgvector in PGlite directly in the browser. And then we're just getting ranked results, and basically we're just returning our ranked results here. So in our case, we're just returning the 3 most relevant results. And so, for example, we can have fun. Car, sleeping can be fun. Playing with a dog can be fun as well. So yes, that's great. So you can see this is running 100% in the browser. We don't need any internet. We need internet to pull down kind of the initial model. We'll dive into that in a second. But then it runs kind of fully locally on the browser, in the browser, which is really, really neat. Okay, so let's look at the steps, kind of how that works. So first of all, here we just have a simple Next.js application. Now, we don't actually need Next.js in this scenario, because this is a purely kind of front end. So we could just be using a pure kind of React application. And then we have 2 kind of dependencies here. So that is on the one hand, as Transformers.js, and then electric equals PGlite. And so with Transformers.js, what we can do is we can do this, this piece here, the semantic encoding. And so what we're doing is if we kind of look into our worker, so we're basically pulling this out into a web worker. So the web worker allows us to sort of offload kind of, the downloading of the model and kind of the processing, all that into kind of a separate thread that we can then pipe back into the main thread. So what we're doing here is we're just setting up kind of a singleton pattern for our pipeline. And here we're using a model. It's called the Supabase gte-small model. So it is available on Huggingface here. So Huggingface, if you're not familiar, it's kind of, like the GitHub for large language models, and this is specifically here general text embeddings model just for mainly the English language, because it's a pretty small model there. But it does still, the model size is pretty small, but it has 384 dimensions here. But the performance, if you look at it, is still very, very good for kind of the small size, which is really, really neat. So we can use that model here with, in Python if you want to, but also with Transformers.js. And so that's what we're doing here. We're using the feature extraction task and then the Supabase gte-small model. And so we're just putting kind of our instance together here. So we can then use it when we're getting kind of a message event being sent to our web worker. We're then just kind of instantiating the message here. This is just sort of posting back the feedback on the model loading. But then we can just get from our text data, we get the classifier. So we'll just do some pooling and normalized true. These are kind of the settings for generating our embedding. And then we get our embedding here, and really we just post back the status and the embedding. So what we can see here is the way we use that in our application. So here we have our page, our app, and then we just do a reference to our worker. And so we have a couple things here where we set up the database. We'll look at that in a little bit. But let's look first at kind of the web worker. So we're, just creating a reference for the web worker here, a new worker type module. And then we have kind of an event listener here where we're listening back to the messages received from the web worker. And if you remember, we're sending, once we have the embedding generated, we're sending that complete message here. And then what we're doing is we're, once we're complete, we're basically performing a search where we're passing in our database reference and then the embedding. And we can look at kind of our search function here. So that's in the database. And so the search method is just taking in our, reference to our database. And it really is just running a query on the database, which is this kind of inner product query, which is powered by pgvector. So there's plenty of information on kind of, pgvector and how that works. We have also tons of documentation. But so this is just kind of a basic inner product query. And so here the embeddings, we're just comparing 1 to 2. And so you can see here we're stringifying our embedding that we're passing in. And then we're negating the match threshold here because it's kind of a negative inner product search. And then we're just setting a limit. In our case, I believe for the search, we're defaulting to just the top 3. We can change that limit as well. And so maybe let's switch gears a little bit and see how kind of PGlite works. So PGlite, very exciting from Electric SQL. You might have seen postgres.new powered by PGlite. Really, really cool, built by my colleague Greg Richardson and contributors. And so you can load some data in there. You can generate charts and kind of everything. And AI is kind of built right into it. And so that is also powered by PGlite. It also has actually gte-small built in. So very much that was kind of the inspiration for this tutorial here. But it's kind of spec'd down a little bit to just, semantic search. And so the way this works, we can use it in the browser with indexedDB. So we can say here, indexedDB my data. So let's have a look at how we kind of do this here. So really we're just, importing PGlite and then vector as well. So pgvector is bundled within PGlite here. So we can use it as an extension. And then the way we get kind of our database instance, so we're just getting our indexedDB here. We'll call it super semantic search. And then we're loading the vector extension in there as well. we're just waiting for the database to be ready. And then we have our database. And so once we have our database instance, so we can look at, in our page, we're kind of getting the database here so the initial, like where we're setting up the database. So we're just calling this once in the use effect here. So just on page load, we're, initializing or getting our database. We're setting a reference, so DB current. So this is just a use ref for our database here. And then we're just calling init schema on the database, and we're checking, okay, do we have, any rows in the database? And if we don't have anything, then we seed the database with our data. So we can look at this here. The init schema is creating our pgvector extension. So here, we're just loading, we're basically enabling vector on PGlite, but then we still need to create extension, if not exist vector. We're just dropping the table embeddings here. This is currently commented out. So if you wanted to sort of on initialization kind of reset everything, you could comment this out. And then we're just creating the table if it not exists embeddings. And if you remember, we're just storing our text content here. We're using the gte-small model. So that uses 384 dimensions here. And so we're just creating a vector column called embedding with 384 dimensions. And then we're just creating an HNSW index. So there's a couple different indexing methods that we can do. But I think the HNSW here performs kind of best. So creating that there. Yeah, the way we query here is just we can call database.query, just counting the rows on our table. And then here we looked at the search function already. So that's using pgvector, kind of the inner product, to get our most relevant results. And then we're seeding the database. So here we just have, these are the items that are in our database. And we're just, these are what our vectors look like in gte-small with our 384 dimensions. And then, thanks to these vectors being generated by Transformers.js, we can then perform this inner product search. And that is pretty much it. So, if you remember, that's what we're doing. So the semantic encoding, the generating of the embedding, that is performed with Transformers.js in the browser. And then the similarity comparison that is being done with pgvector in PGlite in the browser. And then we just get this really, really cool, maybe let's see if it knows Supabase, desk Apple. Yes, at Supabase, I actually have a desk here and I have my Apple MacBook on there. So, gte-small does know about Supabase as well. Maybe database, let's see, chair, desk, boat. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure why the boat is related there, but I guess if you sell enough databases, you can buy yourself a boat. So let's do exactly that. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'd really love to see, if you're building with these technologies, tweet at us what you're building. We always love to see what you're building. And until then, keep building cool stuff. See you next time. Bye-bye.